Yo, what is happening, team? Just back on the lives. And got a bunch of questions here that I want to get answered that came through from the week. Looking very cool with my background here today. I'm just going to pin the get started link, okay, because literally, funnily enough, the answers to almost all of your questions are on the get started link. Literally every question that comes through, pretty much bar a few, you can actually get in the videos from week 1 and 2 that are going to be coming up. Okay, so I'm just going to pin the get started link, and I'm going to go through these questions in no particular order. There's a lot of protein this week, obviously, because there's a lot of people hitting up week 2, so they're increasing their protein. So anyway, first question I had was, I did a scan on different scales, and the results were different to the body scan that I did in movement. So yeah, that's totally normal. Any scales that you use is going to produce a different result. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. Effectively, what we're really just looking for on the scales is, number one, what's your body weight, so we can calculate your calories. And just we want to see it's going in the right direction in terms of the body fat when we look at the body fat analysis. So just to make sure that it's going down. So yeah, all of the scales give slightly different results. The only true or accurate reflection of how much body fat someone has is an autopsy. But that's why we look at the photographs, and that's why we look at the measurements, because that's where you see the real difference. Hence why we make you do the photographs once a week, which ironically, or conveniently, up to you, you decide, leads me on to my next question. So, do I need to upload the pictures each week? Yes, you do. Pictures need to be uploaded each week. So to do that, again, it's all on the Get Started link. I have a question for you guys. How many people read everything on the Get Started link or watched all the videos that are up there? So everything you need to know is definitely on there. So you do need to upload the photos every week. And how you get that? If you go through week 1 and you're doing the onboarding, there's a section there where you upload your initial photos and measurements. However, once you get past that step, it actually takes you directly into the nutrition site. Now, on the Get Started link a little bit further down, there is a link that you can click that will bypass that takes you straight into nutrition. And it's going to be on section number 2. There's a section where you can upload your pictures. Why do you want to do it every week? One, it keeps you super accountable because you know you got to do it every single Sunday. So make sure you upload those on a Sunday. It just keeps you on track as well. When you're doing the weigh-in as well, we want to get a consistent time. So once a week on a Sunday is a good time to do it. Sometimes if you're going, like you might see you go up a little bit in weight, it could be anything. It could be that you had loads of stuff that weekend. It could be that you have a little bit of water weight or retention, stuff like that. So if you're a little bit worried they've gone up a little bit of weight, look at the pictures, look at the measurements and stuff like that when you're doing that. And sometimes it can fluctuate. If it's the time of the month, all that sort of stuff, you can have a little bit of fluctuation with water weight, bloating, all that sort of stuff as well. So again, don't read into the weight too much. Really focus on the measurements and the pictures. There's a couple of key goals you have on the challenge. We know these key goals. I told you it's all in the consultation, and that's what we want to focus on. We don't necessarily want to focus on the weight so much. The results will come. Our key goals, 3 sessions a week, 4 or 5. If you want to do a few more, that's fine. Weekly protein goal, and then our weekly calorie goal, should I say, and our daily protein goal, which if you're on week 2, you'll start to have calculated. By the way, if you're on week 2 and you're not hitting your protein yet, that's okay. You're going to start hitting that at the start of week 3. So this week is you're calculating it and testing it out, okay? So question number 3, this is an interesting one. I looked at the chart online and my body fat percentage says I'm obese. What should I do? Well, 1, don't worry about it, okay? Those charts are a little bit all over the place. I don't really rate them that much. You'll know by your level and your fitness and activity and stuff like that if you're obese or not. Like if we were to look at like a rugby player or something like that who's got a bit of extra weight on them, their BMI would tell them they're overweight. Their body fat percentage might tell them they're overweight, but they're probably one of the the fittest people out there. So don't worry about those scales too much. And again, you don't necessarily need to worry about too much where you're at now. It's where you're going to be in 6 weeks, in 6 months, in 12 months, etc. The absolute key thing that you do is focus on the goals that we set you. So don't be worried about the numbers too much, apart from our weekly calories, our daily protein, our 3 sessions a week. Those are the only numbers I want you to worry about. The rest will come with the results, okay? So I would say just shell those scales or charts that you had a look at online from an obesity perspective and just focus on the goal at hand, the day-to-day activities that you'll do to produce the results that you want in the future. That is the main thing, the absolute main thing. Okay. Number 4, I can't do a certain exercise, what should I do? So this is a really, really good question. If you can't do a certain exercise, either do something new that you know you're able to do or ask one of the trainers to give you an alternative if you want to continue to work that muscle group. Okay, so lots of people like wrist injuries, knee injuries, etc. look for an alternative. You don't have to do that particular activity or exercise. So do something a little bit different, and that's going to help you still, burn calories, work the muscle, whatever it is. And yeah, just ask for something new. If you can't do a certain exercise, always let the trainer know. Just put your hand up, call them over, and get something new. What you'll find is you've got a pattern of exercises that you start to repeat or do over the course of the challenge and then into the future when you continue to train. So essentially all you got to do is pick those exercises that you can do, work your way up to it. You can also do some different stuff like progressive overloads and stuff like that with different exercises. So this is actually a question I got asked before. I think it's actually on the list. So what do I mean by a progressive overload? We're talking about doing weight training. Well, let's look at body weight training, for example. If you're doing a squat and you want to do a progressive overload, instead of doing like a nice quick squat, you could like go down for 3 seconds, you could go up for 3 seconds. That's a progressive overload because you're putting the muscle under tension for more time, even though it's just a short period of time. So that's a way to do a progressive overload as well. You can do that with weight. So a lot of people will think that they need to up weight, they need to keep lifting more and more when they're in a session. Not necessarily true. You can slow down the pace of the action you're doing. Or again, if you're doing like a squat or a push-up, for example, you can go like a little bit deeper on a push-up, a little bit further down, a little bit deeper on a squat as well. That's going to be a progressive overload. It doesn't always have to be more weight when you're doing that. Okay, so can't do a certain exercise, ask the trainers for a new one, find out which ones you can do, incorporate them into your workout. Also, the other good thing to do is go to Joe's class on strength and conditioning as well. So you can perfect any techniques or requirements that you have. If you're at Joe's class, and it's something you want to do in a future class, let her know so she can plan that out. It mightn't be the next class that week, but it could be coming up down the track in a couple of weeks' time. Oh, here's a good one here. So, I'm struggling with work. What should I do? The morning classes is the answer to that question. Morning class is absolutely key. Get them into your routine. I'm not a morning person personally myself. I do like a bit of a lie-in, but I mean, I've obviously got to be down here and do the classes. It's sort of become my routine, my rituals and stuff like that. So if you can get yourself down to the morning sessions, like 7 o'clock in Portobello, that's not ridiculous. The earliest you'd have to get up, even if you live far away, is 6 o'clock. So get yourself down to the morning sessions, get them done for the day, because that way, if work gets on top of you, you still have got your sessions in for the week. You can also do a home workout. Had someone message me today. They're going to do a workout down at FlyFit as well, because they could only get to 2 sessions a week. So just chuck that into the mix, but morning sessions are key. They're super popular here as well. So everyone's sort of, I think, getting them into the routine. If you haven't tried them yet, give them a try. Cool. How do I calculate my protein intake? Question here, number 6. Have you clicked the get started link? Have you watched the videos on how to calculate protein? So what we do is we actually give you a protein calculator that I quite like. It used to be just a macronutrient calculator, and then they rebranded as a keto calculator. Nothing to do with keto. We don't do keto here. If you're doing it yourself, that's fine. Don't know why you would. I wouldn't do it. But anyway, the calculator itself shows you to do the protein, and you just switch the ratios. Now, what I do is I tell you to switch it to low carb if you've watched the videos. And the reason I do that is it gives you a nice protein amount. So it's sort of 40 to 45% of your intake is going to be protein. So key thing to remember with this is when you're increasing your protein, you just have to hit your calorie target with carbs and fats. You don't need to do the exact carbs and fats ratio that's there on week number 2. So use that calculator to calculate your protein. I got it done for Michelle last night. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Once you've got that done, grab your phone and then go to MyFitnessPal and then readjust your goals. So go into the nutrition section and readjust your calorie goals, and that will help you stay on track so you know you're hitting that target. And the hardest part of the challenge, once you've gotten over the first 2 weeks and you're doing exercise, is actually getting the protein in. And so probably, I'm really struggling with my protein intake. What should I do? So if you're struggling with your protein intake, it's very hard to consume all that protein through eating meat, eggs, fish, whatever it is you're eating. protein shakes, protein bars work really, really well when you're on the challenge. So I'd suggest grabbing some of them, incorporate them into your diet. You don't have to do it forever, but it definitely works when you're trying to like lean up. Also works when you're trying to bulk as well, but get that into the diet. So another one here, what protein shakes would you recommend? Really depends what you're into. I would go for like MyProtein because it's whey protein, it's cheap and cheerful. You can order it online, usually comes in a day or two. I like the vanilla. I tend to mix it with water and some ice cubes, shake it up if I'm on a cut. If I'm trying to bulk up or put on size, I'll actually put extra stuff in there like milk, yogurt, fruit, berries, etc. because I'm trying to consume extra calories. Which is interesting because the next question here is all about weight gain. So we've got a couple of people who are on muscle gain who are doing the challenge as well. So weight gain, I'm struggling to reach my calorie goals. What should I do? So I know one of the clients in Janet didn't want to have like smoothies, drink the calories and stuff like that, but she's already figured out her plan. She's having nuts, seeds, things with good fats, avocados, etc. that she can eat that are going to help her get those calorie goals up. So you're going to want to have a high protein intake, and then high fats is a really good way to get those calories up to reach your goal. So a lot of people with muscle gain actually can be quite a struggle when you're starting out because you do have to consume a lot of food. So having those high fat foods can really help you hit those calorie goals. The other thing you're going to want to do if you're on weight gain as well is you don't want to do like a massive calorie burn all the time. You're definitely not coming to the classes for a calorie burn. You're coming to the classes to lift weights, get stronger. In fact, everyone should really be doing this. The gym sessions really shouldn't be about the calorie burn. They do burn calories, of course, but so does walking, so does cycling, so does taking the stairs instead of the elevators, all that sort of stuff. But when you're in the gym, focus on the technique. Don't worry about the amount of calories you've burnt. We've already accounted for that in our food intake. Okay, so that's absolutely key. Come to the gym to focus on the exercise. Come to classes to focus on the exercise. That's what it's all about. And if you're on that weight gain, muscle gain, getting those calories in is absolutely key. Protein high, fats high is probably one of the easiest ways to do it. If you're trying to bulk out your muscles as well and look a little bit bigger, carbohydrates and water is key to do that as well. So as your muscle grows, it's got more storage space, and that's where I can store carbs when they're broken down. For every 1 gram of carbohydrates that's stored in the muscle, it clings on to 2 grams of water. So actually having carbohydrates and water is really good to help you fill out, get like a little bit bigger. For men, it would be more like get bulkier. For some of the girls who are on the muscle gain who aren't looking to bulk up, it'd be more just like that tone and filling out the muscles. So carbohydrates and water will help, whereas you'll be using your protein for muscle like growth and repair, and the fats to kind of get your calories in. All right. So what exercise should I do for weight gain? Again, that's all about that progressive overload. It's all about slowing down the motions, focusing on the technique, increasing weight, or else progressive overload through slower reps and sets when you're doing your program. And then I know a couple of people here, just the last one here, we'll talk about the tech. A couple of people have said the GlowFox, the movement app isn't working. So it's designed by a company called GlowFox. And if you do need to download the GlowFox app, the communal one that they have, you go to GlowFox, search for Movement Fitness Dublin, and then log in, and everything should work there. Never seems to be any issues online. You can always go to movementfitness.com/timetable and sign up there, and I'll pop those links in the questions below. So guys, that's it for today. If you have any other questions, DM me or write them in the chat box down below. I'll get them answered either directly or on the next live. So it's really helpful asking questions because a lot of people have the same questions. So the more you ask, the more I can give back, the more we'll learn, the easier it's going to be to smash the challenge and keep kicking goals down the track. For anyone who isn't on Facebook, later on today, I will upload this video and we'll put that on YouTube and on the website so you can watch it at a later date. Peace out for now, you guys, and I will see you at training.